I couldn't believe my eyes as the police swarmed into the building, their urgent movements and serious expressions sending a jolt of panic through me. How did it come to this? The flashing lights outside, the tense atmosphere inside. It was all because of me. I never imagined that a simple flick of a switch could lead to such chaos. To understand how we got here, I need to take you back to where it all began. It was just another ordinary day at the office. The kind of day where the hum of computers and the distant chatter of coworkers created a familiar backdrop to our daily routine. I was sitting with our ever-efficient secretary, a seasoned multitasker who could juggle phone calls and emails with the ease of a maestro conducting an orchestra. We were tasked with the delightful job of ordering pizzas for an office lunch party, a rare occasion that broke up the monotony of our work week. As we debated the merits of pepperoni versus vegetarian, my gaze wandered under the desk. That's when I noticed it, a small, unassuming switch that seemed out of place. It piqued my curiosity. I remembered reading a Reddit post not too long ago about someone who had pressed an emergency button at work, causing a whole lot of trouble. I chuckled to myself, thinking how absurd it was that anyone could make such a mistake. Surely I wouldn't do something like that, right? But there it was, this switch, just begging to be flicked. I assumed it was part of the desk's mechanism, maybe to adjust its height. Some of our desks had fancy electric motors for standing or sitting, and I figured this was just another feature. So, without a second thought, I started fiddling with it, flicking it up and down absent-mindedly as we continued our pizza deliberations. What I didn't realize was that this innocent-looking switch was far from ordinary. It was, in fact, a silent alarm, one that would soon wreak havoc on our unsuspecting office environment. As I played with it, the atmosphere around me remained calm, everyone blissfully unaware of the impending storm. My heart skipped a beat when the first officer appeared at the entrance of our building. The secretary, sensing something was amiss, rushed downstairs to see what was going on. Her expression shifted from confusion to alarm as she realized the severity of the situation. The police were under the impression that we were being robbed, and the urgency in their movements only amplified the tension. My mind raced as I tried to process what was happening. Could it really be because of the switch? The realization hit me like a freight train. I had activated the silent alarm, not once, not twice, but at least 20 times. Each flick of the switch had sent a silent cry for help, summoning the authorities to our door. The weight of my mistake settled heavily on my shoulders. I felt a mix of embarrassment and guilt, my cheeks burning with the shame of it all. How could I have been so careless? The irony of the situation was not lost on me. I had done exactly what I thought was impossible, exactly what I had laughed at when reading that Reddit post. As the police officers assessed the situation, I could see the confusion on their faces slowly turning to understanding. They realized it was a false alarm, a mistake, but the consequences were already set in motion. The company would have to pay a hefty fine, €1,000 to be exact, for what was deemed a false call. My stomach churned at the thought of the financial impact my blunder would have on the company. The secretary returned, her face a mask of both relief and exasperation. "What happened?" she asked, her voice a mix of incredulity and concern. I took a deep breath, my voice shaky as I confessed, "It was me. I didn't know it was a silent alarm." Her eyes widened in disbelief, but she quickly composed herself. "Well," she said with a sigh, "at least we know it works." Her attempt at humor did little to alleviate the weight of my guilt, but I appreciated the effort. As the police officers left, the atmosphere in the office slowly returned to normal, though the incident lingered in the air like a stubborn cloud. My coworkers, initially startled by the commotion, offered sympathetic smiles and reassurances. It could have happened to anyone, they said, though I couldn't shake the feeling that it shouldn't have happened to me. In the aftermath, I found myself reflecting on the day's events. It was a humbling experience, a reminder of how easily things can spiral out of control with just a simple mistake. I learned to be more mindful, to question my assumptions, and to approach unfamiliar situations with caution. The fine, though significant, was a small price to pay for the lesson I had learned. I realized that sometimes it's the seemingly insignificant actions that can have the most significant consequences. And as I sat back at my desk, the memory of the day's chaos still fresh in my mind, I couldn't help but chuckle at the irony of it all. In the end, it was a day that would be remembered, not just for the pizzas we eventually ordered, but for the unintended adventure that came with them. And as I looked around the office, the familiar hum of activity resuming, I felt a renewed sense of gratitude for the patience and understanding of my colleagues. And so I leave you with this. Always be aware of your surroundings, and never underestimate the power of a simple switch, because you never know when a flick of the wrist might just turn your ordinary day into an unforgettable story.